Shalom. I'd like to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, Bahashem Kakadash, the bonus of the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace to the whole elect scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. Alright, so this is a video from Arrows of Indignation, and the brother curates good videos. And the title of this one is "Eve will blame Jake for the collapse of Babylon." Here we go.
Messages for black people, because you're not late, you're right on time to be gaslit, to be told that the hunger was your hustle's failing, to be told that the shooting was just your neighborhood, to be told that the grief was just your culture's curse. I want you to understand it, because the collapse has already begun and you didn't cause it. You were just in the blast radius. That's all that's happening. We've seen this loop before too, but never digitized, never budgeted like this, never whispered into law by unelected boards who don't even need your vote, not with AI eating jobs, not with Medicaid gutted like meat, not with the Supreme Court doctor and checking the ballot or choking it out like it's a procedural thing to do. This is not austerity. This is the staged demolition of the safety net, and you're standing beneath it because Reagan taught us to wait until the bodies drop. Right? I just want you to understand, black people wish they would have caught on right here, right before it all happened, because Clinton taught us to wait until the jails were full. Right? And wait until the eviction started. Wait again. Wait one more time. We won't even hear a boom this time. Just the floor collapsing like a quiet betrayal, because this time it's all legalized. It's all in law, digitized, sanitized, and blamed on you because the leak has already started. We're leaking jobs. I know you've seen the report. I know you've seen the reports about the black women. I know you've seen the reports leaking housing. I know you've seen that report too, leaking the belief that anything could catch you. I want to say this.
Yeah, they said over 300,000 black women lost their jobs within the last few months under this administration. And what was one of the first things that Trump did when he got into office? He eliminated DEI, which gave corporations the reason to no longer hire those women or to get rid of them, because they never needed them to begin with. They was just fulfilling their little quota, you know what I mean? And then now look, AI is taking over. So really, the future is looking grim. They don't need people anymore, because it's all about the bottom line when it comes to these corporations. AI is going to allow them to make more money.
The media will not call it a disaster in 2026. They will call it black youth crime. They will call it truancy. They will call it urban tension. They'll call it anything but the truth. That the state abandoned you and printed a smile on the notice. And your white neighbor, I want you to understand, they won't escape either. Not this time. They not when the insulin doesn't show up. When grandma's insulin doesn't show up, they will not be safe in that. Not when her husband cries in the driveway because the VA said come back next quarter.
Yeah, and so as we move further and to these last days, it's just gonna get worse. Between these tariffs and these wars and rumors of wars, I mean, it's just a recipe for disaster.
That's exactly what it's going to look like. Not when the school cuts breakfast, then lunch, and then tells the kids to be strong. I'm just saying that. This is not just a black issue, but black America will be the ones to absorb the first shock. We will, like always, like a firewall no one asked to be. I just want to say what this is, because if you don't hear us now, you will feel it later. So we got to name the crime before they blame us for it. I got to say this now, because this is not a black failure. This is budget homicide. That's how you got to talk about it. They cut Medicaid, now they want mugshots. That's how we got to talk about it. So I'm just going to say this clearly. Protect your side hustles like it's a treasure, because mutual aid will not be kindness in the future. It is, and it really isn't kindness right now. It's a strike shield. I'm just saying that. We got to teach folks where theft is happening, right? In the taxes, in the rent, in the denial of care, and surround black life with infrastructure that actually loves us for once. Not just the nonprofits, but I'm talking about doulas, therapists, record keepers, before the surveillance arrives, dressed as compassion. And really, and this going to be the coldest thing I need to say. You need to name 10 senators. You need to name 10 senators and demand they speak or step aside. That's what it's going to.
Yeah, and this dude, he's an intellectual. However, he doesn't deal with the knowledge. You know, he's talking about basically believing in their system and holding your senators accountable and things of that sort. But if you're in the knowledge, you would know not to put your trust and faith into the system and politics. So this is Isaiah 19, and I'll start off at verse 2. And I will set the Egyptians against Egyptians, and they shall fight, everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. Why? It's because you're going to see American against American. Basically, what we're witnessing going on in D.C. is just martial law of the sort being launched, or them preparing for civil unrest. And this is all just a test. D.C. is a testing ground. And remember, Trump said it's not just D.C. This can spread throughout to other states. Remember, he brought up Baltimore, which happens to be another city that has a high population of black people. Verse 3, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirits and to the wizards. Because as 2025 gets worse in this system, as this system collapses and burns, people are going to be looking at the politicians. They're going to be like, yo, what's up? We voted for you. Do something. But like I said, you can't put your trust and faith into this system. So people are losing their minds. People are losing the spirit to continue, man. I mean, just look at the state of the economy. But let me go back to the video. Let's finish it real quick.
Look like. I'm just saying, because silence needs to be dangerous at this point. Your senator silence, that's direct complicity. Let every black voter know. Let everybody know. I just need you to know this. Because if they don't bleed for us, they don't belong here. I'm just saying that. So by spring 2026, it will be too late to control the story. It will. So this is the season of interruption. So we need to interrupt the silence, interrupt the normalcy, interrupt the rebranding of violence into bureaucracy. We need to state it all, because do not wait for a documentary to come out this time. Don't wait for a think piece. Don't wait for a candidate to finally say it, because you are the signal right now. You are. Because they will rewrite this. They will rewrite this whole thing. We will see in the future youth crime spikes in southern cities. Working families struggle to adapt to AI. Urban communities must learn to do more with less. Right? Medicaid reductions led to unforeseen gaps in care. I just want you to see the headlines. Retail theft epidemic threatens small businesses. Democrats struggle with voter apathy. They'll frame us like weather. We will get taught like weather. Like poverty just appeared as if betrayal was not literally planned. Literally. And you know what TikTok gonna say? Oh, TikTok gonna have all the narratives. Instagram gonna have all the narratives. You gonna hear, just got turned away from ER. What's going on? What's going on? My grandma didn't get her meds. What's going on? Why all these break-ins happening now? Unpopular opinion, universal healthcare wouldn't help anyway. We're going to hear it all. We're going to hear people talking about they're not voting next year because they're all the same. We're going to hear it all. Because rage without a target, despair without direction, I want you to understand structurally, collapse is trying to be mistaken as a personal failure. So no, I disagree. You're not broken. You're not. It's not you. It's not us. We are being stolen from. We're being stolen from. And this time we will remember while it's happening. This time, right? Or we'll be the person literally smelling the ash in this one. We need to tell it as it burns. This time. I'm just saying it. That's my message. You can send this to anybody. I'm just being as sincere about it as possible. Because the news will disturb you in spring. I'm just saying. Crime comes from poverty. And he causes an immense amount of it.
Crime comes from poverty, which is true, because the heart of the issue with the youth is a lack of direction and structure within the household, and also lack of economic opportunity. So combine those elements, you're gonna get crime. So they're not correcting the problem, but what they'll do is they'll deploy the National Guard within people's communities, or because some senator gets mugged or whatever, which that's just a cover up anyway. You know, this is all just a test. Because if they can get away with this, they can do this anywhere. However, the average American, they're more so concerned about keeping up with their bills and working their jobs and just trying to survive. Therefore, they're not going to stand up to what's going on and what's taking place until it's too late. Verse 4 back in Isaiah 19, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts. And that cruel Lord has to be the man that's in office today. Some say that Trump is the reincarnation of Nero. And, going back to the video that I was playing off of, they're going to blame the collapse of Babylon on Jake. So when you go into the history, what did Nero do in ancient Rome? When it comes down to the blaming of the Great Fire, Nero blamed the Christian community for the Great Fire of Rome in 64 AD in an effort to deflect blame from himself. And that sounds very familiar to what takes place today. Because the files of Epstein, those are just tactics and deflections or distractions. Meanwhile, you got these politicians, these courts passing bills such as the Big Beautiful Bill and also the Genius Act, which all leads to the MOTV, which is the chip. Because when this monetary system crashes and burns, they're going to need a reason or a scapegoat, okay? And so everything that's going on now with this demolition of this system, it's going to happen. However, they're just going to deflect off of it. They're going to try to distract people. And then by the time people realize the predicament that they're in, it's just going to be too late. They're just going to have to make that decision to accept the new system, play along in it, or rebel. That's just what it is, or what it's going to be. Because this is all prophecy at the end of the day. Some people try to say that, America has a bright future, but that couldn't be anything but further from the truth. Continuing on, according to the historian Tacitus, Nero accused Christians of the arson leading to their brutal persecution, including crucifixion and being burned alive. This act of scapegoating served to distract from rumors that Nero himself may have been responsible for the fire and provided funds for the subsequent rebuilding efforts. So this mirrors what's happening in 2025. It really does. And the Christians are just the Israelites, because to be a Christian means to be a follower of Christ, Hamashiach Yahushua. And so fast forward to today, it's no different. The true Christians are the Israelites, especially those that are in this knowledge and truth. And it's so obvious. What's going on in DC and them deploying the National Guard, that's all like a ploy. Like, it's just a tactic. It's a test run. So I believe we're witnessing like a sort of launch of martial law, or them gearing up for civil unrest. Because look at how they removed the safety nets. They're getting rid of Medicaid, they're cutting that. EBT, Section 8. I heard that they're going to put a limit on Section 8. You're only going to be allowed to be on it for 2 years. So if enough time goes by, people are going to be struggling. And AI is coming after people's jobs. AI is the future. People are about to become the data, if they're not already. And so, yeah, man, if enough time goes by, it's just going to get worse. But my thing is, why wait another 2 or 3 years or 4 years or hell, even 5 years, when the technology for the MOTB already exists? They already have the system with Swift. I did a video on that a couple months ago. And being that the system and the technology is really already in place, all they need is a reason to roll it out. It's just going to be like a gradual thing. So who knows what's going to take place within the next 2 quarters of this year, or even next year. But we'll see, man. Next scripture, Isaiah 51:14. The captive exile hasteneth that he may be loosed. And who's that talking about? It's talking about the Israelites. That's talking about us. And that he should not die in the pit. What is the pit? The pit is this capitalist system. Nor that his bread should fail. Because it's like all the time, effort, and work that you put in to receive what little that you have, it wasn't worth it at the end of the day. And when they really come with the temptation of the MOTB, that's when people are going to have to make that decision. Like, is it really worth holding on to what little do they have? Or what they worked so hard to achieve? Or should they just bow out gracefully? And those that are in the knowledge, they're going to know not to participate in this new system, this upcoming system. And so really, capitalism has just always been like the projector of the NWO, because you've always had the elites that were at the top of the pyramid, and the regular people would just receive the crumbs. The regular people are the ones that got to pay taxes, things of that sort, which also is an indication of how people are really ruled over by the elites. The very fact that you have to pay taxes, come on. That shows you that you're just a number. You're brought up in this system, you're born, you get a birth certificate, you get a number assigned to you. So that's just them keeping tabs on you. And then on top of that, you got to participate in the monetary system. You get a job, what do they pay you in? They pay you in money, fiat currency, the dollar bill, which is losing value by the day. So as time goes by, we're going to see the degradation, destruction, and burning of this system. And I truly believe that they are going to blame it and deflect. They're gonna blame it on the people and deflect, and it's no different from what we're seeing today. With all these scandals going on and these wars and rumors of wars, they'll never admit that they're the problem, that they're the cause. So, I'll end it on that note. Hope y'all found this video edifying. Shalom. Until next time.